you're stuck in a creative rut and you don't know how to get out. It's like a big pothole where your tire is flat right in the middle. Well, like many artists, I have certainly been there before, and I've got a few tips to help you dig yourself out of that pothole. I've been known to be creative every once in a while, and you've got nothing to lose because you're stuck in a pothole. So let's get going. My number one thought when it comes to creativity is to change it up. My creative mentor for many years is a commercial photographer. When things on set aren't working out as well as we had originally planned, she'll always say, let's change it up. For me, change it up means find a new location to get out of my environment. So right now, I'm in this beautiful bamboo forest, and it is inspiring creativity. When I'm trying to change it up, I like to go out somewhere where there are people around. As an extrovert, I'm recharged by being around people. Even if I'm not engaging with those people, if I'm just in an area where there are other people around, gets my creative juices flowing and hopefully will get me out of the pothole. For you, that could be going into a location where you feel more creatively inspired, or maybe just having lunch with a friend and talk over your creative ideas. Have you ever been talking with a friend about something that you're really interested in, and maybe they don't share the same passion, but they're listening to you and they're interested, and they ask the most interesting question. They ask such a bizarre question that you're completely thrown off, bamboozled, and you have to stop and really think about it. When you do, out of nowhere, poof, a brilliant idea comes that sparks your creativity, ignites your creativity, gets you out of the rut, gets you out of the hole. Something you would have never thought of if you didn't ask your friend. So my second tip for improving your creativity is to ask somebody or engage with somebody about the topic you're interested in who really doesn't know anything about it to begin with. A lot of times their questions are so interesting, they really spark some creativity. And just like that, boom, crisis averted. You're out of the pothole and you're climbing out of the quicksand. My final tip for inspiring your creativity is to give yourself creative limits. So as a photographer who has way too much gear, and a little bit too much of an obsession with Facebook Marketplace. If I find a really good deal on some photo equipment, I just can't help but turn it up. And so I have an overwhelming collection of photo and video equipment and grip equipment and lighting and background and set design, etc., etc., etc. A lot of times, I am the biggest enemy of my own creativity. I often spend too much time fretting on what mic I should use, which camera I should use, which lens I should use. Should I use ND filter? Should I put a Polar Pro mist? What should I add? What is the lighting here? Should I add artificial lighting? Should I supplement the lighting? Should I use natural lighting? What background color should I use? Etc., etc., etc. You get the point. But some of my most creative projects have come from when I left the house and I was either asked to do a shoot last minute, or I got to my shoot and realized I did not have that special piece of gear I thought I needed, and then created some of the most amazing work I had ever created thus far. Any of you who've ever taken an art class or even been to art school know all about those dreaded projects that are made within creative limitations. Your professor comes to you and says, you can only use a blue pencil for this project. You can only use one type of medium. You have to do the whole thing upside down. For a photographer, it could be saying you only get to use a 105 or an 85 millimeter for a project. Well, for something like portraits, that would be great. An 85 millimeter is great for isolating the background, for shooting one or two people. But what if you were told you had to shoot a group shot of 50 people with an 85 millimeter lens? That might be more difficult. We're going to have a setting and a location that allows us to get much farther away. Or another option would be to take many, many different frames and stitch them all together in post. I would have never thought of the second option if I was handed a 24 or a wide lens that allowed me to capture the full image. Forcing creative limits on ourselves can be uncomfortable, certainly, but it could also produce some of your most creative work and get us out of that sinkhole, the pothole with a flat tire. Inspire creativity. And isn't that our whole goal here?